Hello guys, and welcome back to Strategic Command World War II World at War with our Axis PvP against SirTravis, who's playing as the Allies. This is still the first turn. At the very end of the last episode, we did some big damage with no losses to this Chinese corps over here, and I have an idea of how to make the most of it. We've also upgraded this unit with the limited MPPs that we have. I'm going to take the 13th Army, we're going to move it down here, and you'll see why. First, we're going to wipe out the enemy corps, shattered, bam. One less Chinese corps on the map. Maybe a reduction to their national morale, hopefully. Where's China up here? It already starts out pretty low. I mean, so does Japan's, but, you know, we got to get that better as quickly as possible. And I'm going to do some magic, because I don't believe Travis is as familiar with the layout and amounts of troops as I am. He may boot up an Axis game to figure it out, but honestly, I don't think that he will do that. Resultingly, I'm going to try to take advantage of this idea in my head right now. So, the first thing we're going to do, we're going to take the Central Expedition Army. We're going to send that around over here into what I believe I dubbed the killing field last time, because now I can really play with someone's emotions. You know, we're dealing with a player here. I can really mess with the psychology of a person instead of just predicting AI. So we're going on a very aggressive front surrounding this, making him feel like Changsha is really at risk. Maybe he'll still go on an offensive somewhere by Nanning. I believe that interests him based on what limited conversation I've had with him so far, but who knows, we'll see. Then we're going to take the HQ at Harbin here. I'm going to operate it. I'm going to send it right down to Nanchang, so we have like another HQ in the... I could also just send this one, but supply needs to be split, and we know this front's going to expand. We have an HQ for up here. We have an HQ for here. Our focus is going to be down here, so we're going to need the HQs down there. So, this HQ, which has a terrible leader, by the way, it's going to operate down to Nanchang. What's that going to do for supply? It's going to become amazing over here for us, which is way better than my... I believe I had a very center-focused approach, and Changsha was definitely my focus last time. Well, it's not anymore. Reflecting my priority lying around Changsha, we're going to send the tactical bombers here. They're going to need to move. I kind of want to move them right here, though, because 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So yeah, they'd have a good range over everything. Meaning, for what I want to try to do, I kind of need to move these fighters as well. Supply from Nanjing is really good. Very serviceable. We'll just move you out of the way for now, Mr. Fighter, who can deal damage to an army with a strafing run. But that's not in the cards. We don't need that right now. The tackle bombers can then move here, because they have a range actually of 5, right? By default, yeah. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 out to here. So across this line, that's perfect. The medium bombers are also maybe in a dangerous position. 3 action points. They could find a way to get out here, maybe. And I don't want to risk it. If we're here, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, because the medium bombers have slightly longer range. We're going to move there, behind the safety of all these mountains. For better supply, I'm going to move the air army fighters right down here. They could get some upgrades already, but it's not going to be too needed. Again, the Chinese don't really start out with anything good for fighter coverage anyway. We have some partisan points that are not currently being watched that we want to fix. For example, Mukden. So I'm going to force march the 12th garrison over to Mukden, and then we'll be able to replace it with this HQ here at Peking, which is something that I did last time. We can't get all the way to Peking right now, unfortunately. But that's also just kind of fine, because that helps our supply anyway, because the supply at Peking is already just so large as it is, and covers both of these garrison points as well. But as we can see here, a lot of the garrison points are very, very shared. I'll probably have this garrison take these 2 points so that I can free up this army. For this purpose, I will force march the 6th garrison up here, saving any drop of MPPs we can. Even 5 MPPs saved on operations could be valuable. The Itagachi HQ, thus, will move on to Suchao and boost supply here way the fuck more than it's already doing. This newfound supply spread allows me to take the 37th Army. I'm going to put it over here across the river in a field, but across the river because we're up against a weaker army that he won't even want to attack with. It establishes a further zone of control around this region, stopping him from trying to break through. he may be tempted to try to encircle this, but then he will fall victim to the mountainous terrain of China trying to move anybody forward while we take time to entrench and strike back against anything. This is not an offensive move. We are taking care of the garrisons here. This allows me to thus take this garrison, or this one really. This one can get further. And force march it. Probably up around here, with the idea of freeing up any armies or whatever that we can. Right now, we do need to move something to cover both of these hexes, so the 5th Corps will do that just fine. We don't need to rush to get cores down there. We need to rush to get armies more than anything, and this is an army that we can free up at Hisin King if we wanted to. This one could already be freed up, because it's not even on a point. Well, actually, it's not on a partisan point. It's on a point where we need to keep someone there until the Soviets enter the war. I'm going to force march the first garrison in this direction as well, because leaving this HQ here as a sort of garrison just makes plenty of sense to me for now, because it's mainly controlling this stuff around here, and it will be in range of all this stuff up here anyway. It's not needed on the front just yet. It can wait until we get some garrisons incoming. Like I said, I'm not in a rush to take over China this time. I'm going to fight this calmly over time, spreading my resources out how I think best. And so there's a number of ways I can spend my points, but we start out with 150, and I'm going to spend a third of that on diplomacy, just one chit for right now. And that is going to be going into the Dutch East Indies, because my strategy this time around is going to be much different. I'm going to try to allocate, every turn one more chit, maybe 2 if I get the chance. We only have 3 chits as Japan. This is primarily Japan's problem, and it's primarily going to benefit Japan, because here's essentially what's going to happen is when the oil embargo kicks in, I believe that the DEI will not swing towards the Allies, so the DEI's money will not turn off. Therefore, I don't believe a lot of the negative effects of the oil embargo will even happen, and even if they do, then there's still a lot of benefits here. We will get the DEI to join us, meaning we can use their military to protect the DEI. We don't need to spend hundreds, at least 100, of MPPs invading the DEI and taking it over. It will have its own kind of just pre-existing defense force, and it'll also get access to its navy. It can serve as a protectorate for everything in this region, allowing me to focus Japanese forces elsewhere, while also spending less overall on diplomacy than we did the last time, going for that super Europe-heavy strategy. This will free up Japan to do a couple of things. Number one, it means we don't need to attack America nearly as early. I mean, I attacked them early in the PvE. We won't need to do it early at all with this plan, because the oil embargo won't be as big of a deal. We still might, but we'll get to that when we get to that, Again, even though I trust Travis, he might be watching this, so we'll just gotta hush, make sure, right? And then Japan's freed up to then focus more on its inland priorities. It's left to be able to focus more on Pacific priorities, and so that's kind of my plan. This is the only country that I plan to turn early on, and I plan on doing it primarily with Japan's diplomacy, because honestly, I think all the MPPs we would lose invading and not having income from the DEI for a while, I think all of that is what it would cost probably to just get these guys to join anyway. And so long as I start early, I don't need to use as many German MPPs to rush it into existence. So long as I can get it done, before the oil embargo, that's long enough that I think it would need minimal German involvement, though there will probably still be some German involvement. But then we won't lose MPPs from the DEI. These oil taps won't turn off for a while. They won't reduce in strength or anything, and we'll just have a bunch of free units provided to us. Not a bunch, some, but enough. This corps is going to go ahead and force march its way down the road into this region, because it'll be useful up here for something. Not quite sure what yet, but something. There's no partisan point to defend over there, so I'm not really worried about that. I'm more worried about filling in partisan points while I still don't have full garrisons to do it with. And the 1, 2, 3 armies up here are what I care to move the most. We don't even necessarily have the opportunity to do that. Hell, I might just turn this around and send this to Helsinki next turn. But we're going to pace our shifting of armies out of here one by one. We're not going to do it in a big rush or anything. His Sin King will be the first one, so we're going to upgrade this army with infantry weapons, getting it actually upgraded and prepared before we operate it up to a front, where we will be able to figure out, do we need this as a reactionary force to go here to plug in a hole? Do we need, 4 armies? Good luck, Travis. Or do we need it to press our offensive around Changsha? Once again, 4 armies, see what we can do with it. Either way, we'll have somewhere to send it. We now have this destroyer, the Fubuki destroyer, that's just sitting here really for no good reason. So we're going to send it off to a port somewhere. Right over here is good enough for right now. And I'm probably going to save the rest of my MPPs as Japan. There's no real need to spend any others. We can definitely get this destroyer back somewhere up here. No big rush, really. There's no point to rush, so I'll just send it up here towards Saipan. Because we're never going to have enough MPPs to focus all this naval stuff at once. And upgrading my navy really doesn't have to happen until the war in the Pacific begins. With that, I believe we've done everything that I'm going to do. I've done some double checking. I've checked my list. I've checked it twice. Not quite sure if we've been naughty or nice, but I'm pretty damn sure we've done everything that I plan to do. So, I'm going to hit end turn. And then Polish morale suffers from battlefield losses. Hell yeah. Let's see. Lieutenant General Kurt Student's Flieger Division is partially formed in trade units of paratroopers. Despite its incompleteness, it could be used in the latter stages of the invasion of Poland or in an early attack on France. Alternatively, we could allow it to complete its training and formation, in which case it will deploy at full strength at Hamburg at the end of this year. Would you like to therefore deploy the understrength and only partially trained Flieger Division now? Yes. Or let it complete its training so it'll deploy at full strength ready for operations in 1940. If you say yes, you will receive 50 MPPs that had previously been assigned to completing its training and formation. These can be invested wherever you wish, either in reinforcing this unit or elsewhere. The 7th Flieger Division was still forming when war broke out, so rushing it into service before it is complete will require spending MPPs to bring it up to full strength. However, by saying yes to this, it will be available for operations sooner, and could be useful if you wish to follow up your victory in Poland with an immediate offensive elsewhere. I believe in the PvE I said no to this, and I'm going to say no to this now, because I'd rather it just finish its forming so I don't have to worry about putting any MPPs here or there. It'll be ready when I need it. Now for Italy, our 2nd Corps is nearly mobilized and ready for deployment. If you wish, it could be sent to reinforce our forces in Abyssinia for a cost of 30 MPPs. Given the difficulty of reinforcing our position in East Africa in the event of a war with the UK, this might be a good option. Alternatively, the Corps can be deployed at Naples for service in Europe or North Africa. The decision depends on what your future strategy for war will be. Would you like to send the 2nd Corps to Addis Ababa in Abyssinia? Yes, or deploy at Naples in Italy? No. If the 2nd Corps is sent to Abyssinia, it will arrive there in early October, otherwise it will deploy at Naples in mid-September. Either way, the Corps will be at full strength, but with no upgrades. I've already decided that I'm pretty much going to just abandon Ethiopia. Right now it has 1 Corps and 2 garrisons. If they die, that's maybe 250 MPPs worth of value lost that we didn't even spend. Why would I spend 30 MPPs to transport another unit worth 150 MPPs down there? Plus, there's an opportunity to send an HQ down there, when I know it's going to be so difficult to defend, when I could instead just deploy it here, use that 30 MPPs to transport it to Africa or keep it in Europe, whatever I want to do with it, and etc. I'd rather just keep it. So we're going to go completely opposite to what we did this time. Here we go. We already have it, which is cool. Australia declares war on Germany, so they've joined. South Africa declares war on Germany. United Kingdom declares war on Germany. France declares war on Germany. And that one singular chit that I decided to spend 50, I wasn't even sure if I should do this, 50 MPPs to put into right now, that 5% chance to take effect, that 1 in 20 chance actually worked, and DEI has moved 7% towards us. That is some dumb fucking luck. That is a crit roll for all the D&D players watching this. The Kriegsmarine is confident that a protracted naval effort against the British Empire will bring about their eventual withdrawal from the war. We can target not only the convoys sailing directly to the UK, but also enemy ports and other coastal areas of importance to the Canadian economy. Recommendation, send U-boats and surface raiders to target all convoys leading to the UK. Yep, that's a given. That's a given. Germany has earned 219 MPPs. Quite a lot from its convoys, honestly. Italy collected 71, which is good. We'll be able to afford that research I wanted, just barely. Japan collects 182. They have 315 after their convoys. Beautiful. I love the DEI, man. 301 collected total, 315 after all that. We'll have twice the MPPs to spend, meaning we might be able to take our, like, luck of 1 chit in the DEI and then just put 3 chits in right now to maximize that chance with Japanese spending only. Because again, the DEI and what we will retain from it and not invading it is pretty much just going to pay for it all by itself. We don't even need Germany's help unless it's not moving fast enough. They were at 20% or 25 before, plus 7, they might be at 32% now. So they're already a third of the way there. That's really good for needing to be completed in like 2 years. However, that's all we can do this turn. The turn has been sent over to Travis. He will be able to now log in and take his turn whenever he wants. He will then let me know when it is done, and then we will pick this back up next in this episode. All right, it's been 1 day and the turn has been given back to us. So let's boot up our PBEM here and see what Travis has done. He's already messaged me about his turn. He said he made some kind of mistake that I'll know when I see it, and to have mercy on the British quote-unquote people. So let's view the last turn replay and see what he did. What I'm hoping he did is I'm hoping that he fell for my little submarine trap and he's just freaking out about it. But we'll see. All right, so we got his turn here. I think I saw some reinforcements in France already. Going on the offensive in Poland, and not too much avail. Running off the town, not very wise. Shifted that core onto Warsaw, unsurprising. Poznan, he went forward, did a blitz attack. He's trying to drive in to Germany with the cavalry. These must hit, oh, these are his bombers trying to bomb my units, but my fighters took pretty quick care. It's a carrier! It's a carrier! Yes! Dude! Oh, and he attacked. Is this the same fucking carrier, bro? Did he just attack with the same carrier? Did he just run into me with a carrier, lose half his strength, and then just attack with... That's gotta be a different carrier, right? UK has a bunch of carriers. Oh my god! Yes, it worked! I lost what? 1 strength off a sub? He lost 5 off a fucking carrier? Oh my god. Norway complains that ally attacks on its merchantmen. Yeah, that's to be expected. Because he went and he did some raiding. New Zealand declares war on Germany. Yep. British Army in India is transferred to Alexandria. No surprise. High Command in commissioned General Falkenhorst study a possible invasion occupation of Denmark and Norway, April 1940. Presents its plan for Operation Verserbung, as well as the cause for invasion and occupation if you decide to carry through with an invasion prior to this date. Be sure to move units to quickly occupy Copenhagen, Oslo, and Narvik before the Allies can react. The communists in Yunnan. Open conflict with Mao's communists may be avoided at least for some time if we do not advance close to their territory. Communist China has a 60% chance of swinging 5 to 20% towards the Allies if any Axis units are within 2 hexes of Xi'an, Kweichow, Lanchow, or Chongqing, or 3 hexes of Yunnan. Only advance towards these places if you're ready to fight the communists too. Yeah, Xi'an, Kweichow is basically the whole inner half right there. And so Travis has added to the messages. I knew this would be used in a meme way. He's added Ligma. That's his response to me. Ligma. Wonderful. Dude, I can't believe this trap worked! Words cannot describe how happy I am that that happened, and honestly, I'm starting to look at this region in a whole new light now that he's done that. fighting a player is so much different than fighting an AI, and I'm having thoughts about whether or not it's actually worth doing the automated invasion of Denmark and Norway for 200 MPPs, because they're both pro Axis, I'll still get MPPs from Sweden and Norway, but every turn, and this already happened this turn, every turn that he has anyone near raiding Norway, for example, there's a 50% chance that Norway will move 1 to 4% towards the Axis. They're already 28% now. He might be so aggressive here to try to shirk, get rid of these MPPs, that he might just give Norway to me. And having them join willingly rather than take them over would mean that I'd get to recruit their units and defend them more easily, and without having to worry about all those partisan points that meant that all the free quote-unquote stuff that deployed here, they just had to stay there. I got a core, you get some garrisons. I remember in my PvE, I was running out of garrisons to the end. I wouldn't even need those garrisons. Now, the good thing is that when you do this invasion, all those things are deployed for free. So paying the 200 MPPs for the invasion is like, well, I get 2 countries, I get any MPPs from them, I get to amend this convoy route, and it includes the cost of like 3 different garrisons and a core, which is well worth that amount of MPPs. So I'll think about that, but it definitely has me thinking. He asked me to please not kill the carrier, which I don't even know if I can, because submarines, I learned from feedback in the comments and experimenting in the last playthrough, that submarines work best as traps, not attackers, so I don't know if I even can, but I'd be remiss, is that the right word, if I didn't try. He also said to look at the names of units in Poland. This is the Misclick Army. Okay, I guess because he did say he made a couple misclicks over here. So I guess they came over here as a misclick. He didn't intend for them to be over here. We got the Sugma Army. And he probably renamed this core. I just can't see it yet because I'm not close enough to this core to actually see what the hell's going on. But he moved. He moved, and now Warsaw doesn't have entrenchment. Also, there's this stupid fucking cavalry corps he charged in with. Let me use the first corps and try to just wipe that out real quick. Unfortunately, we only dealt 1 damage, but the thing also retreated all the way back to Poznan. Let's see what luck we can have in dealing with this carrier here. So I'll put this on hunt. And we'll head up this way, yeah? And then down here. And we found a battleship, is what we found. The renowned battle cruiser, and we can deal some damage to it. Let's investigate if there's anything right there. Another battleship. Or this one, yeah, the Nelson battleship. He's got this carrier pretty well surrounded, I'd say. Not sure if we can actually reach it or not. He's got a destroyer here and whatnot. It's gonna be hard to figure out if we can even get to it. But he's not gonna be able to really do any big damage to this sub. That's why I sent this one first as well. I just wanted to kind of make sure just to see what we had available. So let's go up and around with this one. Willingly go into this zone of control. Nothing's in this port. Come down here, and we found the carrier. Now, we definitely cannot kill that carrier, but we can do damage to it, and that is something. But what's more expensive in the long run? Battleship is 350, the carrier's 350. It's the same value. We're gonna, of course, attack it with the U-32 sub, dealing 1 damage, taking 1 damage, unfortunately, and then I don't think I'll really be able to approach it any more than I already have. So that is a not good thing. All right, this one's a battle cruiser. Well, no matter what, battleship, battle cruiser, these are all worth way more than a sub. So and he doesn't know, that's why he did the bombing with this. He doesn't know that a carrier is actually not that good when it comes to dealing with enemy submarines. The other ships he has here are going to be the things that do better. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to go after the renowned battle cruiser with this sub, dealing 2 damage, taking no damage. That works out very, very well if you ask me. Yes, I do think so. I'm not too worried about his ships still because, again, he doesn't have a lot of ASW. I don't plan to kill anything here. I never did. I only ever wanted to do damage, and right now it's going pretty well. 6 damage dealt to a carrier total, 2 to a battle cruiser. He's just leaving his ships here. None of them are in this port. I wouldn't attack them while they're in a port anyway. And he's panicking. He's freaking out. He's going to move this stuff that otherwise would have been deployed here. And so I'm very, very, very happy with how this has gone. We'll see if he keeps trying to keep a unit over by here to do some raiding. If he does, you know, it'll move Norway closer towards us. And then, you know, I'll think about it. I imagine Norway would deploy with some of their own troops as well if they join me for free. I'll have to watch how he acts around Norway while we lead up to the potential invasion. We won't get prompted, I think it said, until 1940. As for other naval moves, we'll take the Admiral Graf here and of course just send it all the way up north. I'm less certain on how to actually get the Deutschland heavy cruiser to safety with this ginormous fucking surface fleet here. And the glorious carrier, which can certainly see pretty far out, I imagine. It can at least see out 4. I don't know if I want to just kind of rush across this way. And then just kind of try to rush down and through here next turn. Because the range becomes 32. We're talking 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Yeah, they could definitely make it all the way here. If I got that far, it's just a matter of, will there be anything in the way? Because if there is or isn't, that will actually affect a whole lot. I imagine with these submarines going crazy, he might try to leave the area. He might try to run it. He could do one of two things, I think. And also, remember when I said that last time? I was like, he's gonna do one of two things over here. And I think I was right about him doing one of two things. He went really aggressive here. So he's going to do one of two things, if you ask me. He's either going to run his fleet away to safety, or he's going to bring more ships in an attempt to combat these units. Either way, he now has to pay for reinforcing multiple ships. And what did I lose? Some damage to some subs? These subs exist to inflict damage. No matter where they go, this is really the most productive way I could have dealt damage. I'll be safe. We'll send the Deutschland just up here for right now. So it's well out of reach. Moving slowly and safely. This one, the U-30 sub, is going to go, I'd say right around here. But I'm also, I don't know, like there might be something along this line. Let's move down like this. A little bit more. Let's go right there. Oh, hello. French province battleship. I think he's gonna freak out seeing this, and I'm tempted to attack it. But I'll lose 2 on the attack, just due to the fact that we ran into it by surprise, so I won't. We'll be able to raid here anyway. He might panic upon seeing this. And that's really good enough for me. If he wants to get any French ships hurt to my subs, that's fine. That'll just... It's fine, really. I don't think he'll have the escort fleet to really try to combat a submarine down here, but it's a good thing it's a sub that came down here. Of course he placed it right here. I doubt that was placed here as a guard, right? It's probably placed here for movement. It just happens to be right here. It's very interesting. This is already so different from fighting an AI. However, that's all we have time for this episode, so I hope you guys are enjoying the absolute shenanigans that we are already encountering at the start of this campaign. It's definitely promising to be an entertaining series, at least in my opinion, so can't wait to see you guys on the next one.